please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to tonight's Planning Board meeting. Please be aware of the fire exit, which is to your left of this room. In the event of emergency, please move in a calm and orderly fashion down the stairs and do not use the elevator. The meetings are recorded by the secretary for the purposes of a record and minutes, so please identify yourself each time you come to the podium and speak into the microphone. The board will follow the items in the order of that they appear on the agenda. There's extra copies of the agenda near the door. After the case has been called, the applicant and/or representative shall come to the podium, identify him or herself, give his or her address, and then present their case. The planning board members will then have an opportunity to question the applicant. If this case is a public hearing, it will be open for public input, at which time anyone wishing to speak to the board regarding the application will come to the podium, identify themselves along with their address, and direct any questions to the board. Once all public input has been completed, the applicant or site representative will be given the opportunity to respond to any public input. Once all public input has been completed and all questions have been satisfied, the case will be closed to the public input and the board will move on to a decision. No further input is allowed at that point. And with that, can we please call the first case?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First case on the agenda is case number PB 1803-1. Upon the matter of request by Karen and Ken Mason for a steep slope environmental protection overlay district EPOD permit to construct a raised 14-foot by 16-foot screened porch on premises 26 Von Deben Lane in an R1 residential district.
Hi, I'm Karen Mason, 26 Von Deben Lane,
And I'm Ken Mason, 26 Von Deben Lane.
Welcome.
and we are here to ask for permission to build a screen porch at the back of our house.
Okay. Has anything changed since the last time we talked at the workshop?
Yeah, the architect did new drawings that have the drainage going into the existing drainage system at the back of the house instead of on a splash block.
Thank you. With that, is there anything else you'd like to tell us? You did go over this quite well in the workshop, so.
I can't think of anything.
Okay. With that, is there any questions from anyone on the board?
The drainage is just going into a dry well, right?
I'm not sure what it is. It's round. It's a metal top with
With
holes in it.
Sounds like a dry well to me, yeah. And there's no sidewalk back there, right?
No.
Okay. That's all that I have,
it.
thank you.
Okay. With that, I'll open up the public I'm sorry, you could have a seat.
Okay.
I'll open up the public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to address the board on this matter? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. With that, considering there was no questions, we've looked at this quite extensively in workshop. Would anybody like to make a motion?
On the matter of PB 1,
Seeker first. I'm
Seeker.
sorry.
I'll do the seeker. You want me to do seeker?
you go ahead and do the seeker. Yeah, I like the way you do it.
Mr. Chair, on the issue of PB 1803-1 regarding the seeker findings, I believe that we should move for a negative on
Unlisted action.
unlisted action. Thank you.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Maybe I should have
No.
done it.
No nays, and Mr. Palermo is, I'm sorry, are you filling it? Ms.
Yes.
Hollenbeck is absent. Okay.
Man, look at this.
It carries 6-0. You're all set. Enjoy your Oh, I'm sorry, we need a motion?
Yeah, we need a motion.
Not yet, not yet.
Upon the matter, PB 1803-1, upon the matter of request by Karen and Ken Mason for a steep slope environmental protection overlay district EPOD permit to construct a raised 14-foot by 16-foot screened porch on premises 26 Von Deben Lane in an R1 residential district. I move that we grant the EPOD permit.
I second.
No conditions, we're all good? All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes 6 ayes, 1 absent. Now you can go build your porch. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks.
I believe we have another matter for board action. Do we have to take that out? That wasn't tabled, right?
No, sir.
So this is not a public hearing either?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. And also, after you announce this one, we did grant preliminary, so could you let us know where we left off? So we
Sure.
can start with it. Thank you.
Absolutely. So item for board action is case number PB 1802-2, upon the matter of request by GRH AEC, acting as agent for Culver St. Paul Convenience Incorporated, for final site plan approval to demolish the existing structure and construct a new one-story building with fuel canopy and an 8x10 storage structure with site-related improvements on premises 2417 Culver Road in a C Business District. And just to reiterate, at the February 26th Planning Board meeting, the board did grant preliminary site plan approval. Stepping back, they also classified this as an unlisted action and made a negative declaration as it's in determination of significance pursuant to seeker. Preliminary site plan was approved subject to final approval pending the following conditions. 1, installation of bollards on corner of building. 2, submission of an updated lighting, utility, landscaping, and stormwater plan. And 3, submission of a signed detail plan. And 4, was subject to the removal of the payphone. And that's all I have, sir.
Sure. Would you please like? Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Reza Armanish. I'm with GRH. I would like to hand in some storm-related documents here to everyone, if you don't mind. I brought this just in case that people need it. Because I had to look at it myself.
Thank you.
This is what I got from the town.
Thank you.
Please make sure that Michelle gets a copy too.
I gave her one.
Oh, you're,
Mike, can you hand him the microphone if he's going to?
We're gonna give you a microphone.
hold on, we're gonna give you a microphone so you can talk.
she never
at the
asked.
same time. Or you could just hand them out and then go back to the mic if you like.
Yeah, I'll wait.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Basically, the issue of the lighting photometric was submitted, which I believe I dropped off prints for everybody on the board that shows the limit of the basically lighting. As you notice, originally the light engineer wanted to utilize 100-foot candle for under the canopy. After I discussed the issue with him that I'm in a residential area and I cannot, 100, it would just glow. Even if they say, well, it's the dark we are complying with dark sky regulation. I said, well, I understand that, but 100 is quite a bit. So they dropped it to 75. And then, but as you see, as when it spreads, by the time I get even to the property line, I'm pretty much zero, at least based on the photometric that they gave me. Around the building also, on north and south overhangs, they show, we provided some LED cans to go, and then on the doors, the front doors, which are on the east side, there's two sconces that needs to go on the door. On the side door, on the north door, they forgot to put it in, but I wrote back and I requested please include that so I can have, it's not going to impact much. As you see, the photometric shows if I put one sconce on the north side by the door, the entry door, it's not going to even impact the photometric really that much. So that was the issue with the lights. And as you see to the west, to the south, the spillage stops way before the photometric shows that I'm not even close to the property line. On the building, basically, the intent was just try to put some light, but not too much, just enough so it keeps it secure for security purposes, but also it gives some lights for the people when they drive around the building. That's pretty much what I have with that. The only thing that the light spec provided, the sconce that they provided, it was too, to me, it was too industrial. First, they gave me wall packs. I said, I don't want wall pack. I'm in residential. I want something residential. Then I selected a sconce that is more residential type, which I submitted via email. It's a little bit more homey as far as I'm concerned. That was the only change there. As far as that issue was concerned. I remember the issue of landscaping when I submit the final package. I make sure all the trees and shrubs are in compliance with the town of Irondequoit zoning. I already have taken notes on it. I'm going to discuss the issue with the owner, see which one he prefers of the selection that we can make from the ones that are approved. So that was another issue. Phone, he already took it out. He called them, and then they never came. So he said, I'm going to go take it out. My suggestion to him would just be careful because there was a line going to the thing. So he had to call an electrician to come and disconnect the cable on that item. As far as the storm is the main big thing from my perspective. The main reason is that right now, of course, the town is saying on Echo, there's an 8-inch line. And then, of course, we just popped the manhole just maybe an hour ago, but it was really hard to get down there. But hopefully one day I put the proper clothes in and I'll go down and I'll measure it. Because before, Passero had said it's a 10-inch line. And they say it's a 10-inch line sewer close to the property on the west side of the culvert. It's an 8-inch line. The town is saying 8-inch, 8-inch. I passed this if anybody wants to utilize that. But it's really small, but it's kind of readable. But so the town is telling me it's 8-inch and 8-inch. Of course, I went to the county. County doesn't have anything except across the street. they have a 12-inch line that is for storm coming down, going north. Once they get to that manhole, which is about maybe 30 feet from my property line, is to the north of it. Then from there it changes to 15. Then when it goes past the other manhole, it changes to 18. But that's 299 feet down. So now, in order for me to go across the street to that line, basically it's very expensive and it's not an easy thing to do. Right now, actually, I took pictures. I'm going to email it to the department tomorrow morning. I have it on the phone. But what it is, the catch basins that you see on the north side of the site, there's a little catch basin. There's two of them, of course, on Echo, one exactly across the street, each other. There's a 6-inch line that is coming from the property. And then there's a 10-inch line that goes out to the Echo, which I'm thinking 99% is connected to that 8-inch, if it's an 8-inch or 10-inch sewer line. So the storm goes there. And also, when you go 60 feet from the manhole westward, there's a lateral. And now that lateral, actually, I measured it. It almost falls right exactly where the storm, right now there's a clean out on the grass, not in the property, but it's a little bit past the property, or it may be just in 1 foot inside the property, because it's not really clear where exactly the property line is. I don't have pins that I can pinpoint. But other than that, basically the catch basin on the south side of Echo, there's a 10-inch line that is connected to it's going that way. There's no way it can just go in sharp turn. It's going straight into that main line on Echo. Now, what I suggested to the owner, what we can do, I got some dye. What we're gonna go, we poured some water. Right now, where the clean out is, it didn't come in the catch basin, even though on the catch basin it shows, if this is my box and the road is here, Echo, there's a 6-inch line coming in here, and there's a 10-inch line going into the street. And there's a 4-inch, one of those old black, not old, but perforated black pipe that they put for drainage. It goes toward the street, and it's looking at an angle. I don't know where that goes, but there is a 6-inch line coming in, seems like from the property, and a 10-inch line going to the street. Now, if you go a little bit further, like 60 feet, you'll see that there's a clean out right on the grass. The snow melted so I could see it. I took pictures of it. We poured water in there to see if it's coming in the catch basin. We put 4 buckets. Nothing came. I said, well, that doesn't matter. Tomorrow I'll come with dye to make sure. And then once you put the dye in, if it goes into the sewer line, we open the manhole on Culver, then you'll see that, okay, it's connected there. Now, what I'm asking is that the sewer, and I believe the sewer and the storm are married together in this situation. They may be there's some snow to west of the existing clean out, which is for storm, because it lines up with the canopy downspout. So if you can see it, you can't miss it. It just lines right with it. So that's for sure a storm, that clean out. Wherever it's going, it most likely, I'm just guessing, it's going to the street. But the best way to test it is to put dye in the clean out and see where it comes out. Of course, when there's more snow melts, maybe there's another clean out that is coming from the building, the small building that for sewer. But I cannot see it, and the snow is quite a bit, not that a lot, but it's melting. So it's that's the only thing. But I'm asking if there's existing sewer and existing storm. So I'm just thinking, I'm asking if I can utilize the same, since it's existing, and it was done before they changed the policies that the storm goes to certain line and sewer goes to certain line, like they do in Brighton, or some locations are like that, the same here. So that's the main thing is that. Now I'm going to go to the county. When I went to the town today again, they said that there is, they don't show any catch basin on the street, that the one that you see on the plans that I show. There's 2 there. There's no ifs and buts about it. But they don't show any on their record. They said, go check with the county. So I'm gonna go with the county. Of course, when I went to the county, all they gave me, I enlarged a portion of it. It's just, all they gave me is just that storm. They didn't give me any catch basin. They say Echo is not part of our jurisdiction. It's town. So, but when I went to the town, so I got to do a little bit of legwork to make sure that who's responsible for it. For sure, there's a line that says city line, so the Echo falls on the Irondequoit side, and then to the east of it is Culver. So I'll go check with the county again to see if they have any data regarding those two catch basins, and if they have, where is it going? But when I went there, they didn't have that. I'll check again. So that's pretty much, I think I addressed, are
Do you
those
have
all the
anything else?
items?
You're supposed to bring sign detail?
Okay, sign, I discussed, I have a basic layout on the site plan that I show. I checked with the owner. I said, who's your sign designer? I need to take that, but he had contacted them. I still haven't, but what I will do, I have to get that and make sure you guys approve it before he can proceed with it. Of course, we got to wait till the whole package is ready, submit it to the town, and they review all the items, and then they can issue the building permit at that point. But presently, right now, I show the sign is coming. We were talking about it, putting on the southeast portion. There's a little grass area that is going to be a monumental sign, and basically 2 foot high. Originally, I had it 1 foot, but after I checked the normal snow height in this area, they're considered 2 feet. So what I brought it up 2 feet high, and then I still kept the sign the same size. I just brought the concrete base foundation up 2 feet, so in case if there's a lot of snow, at least it won't impact the sign. But that's one thing that I have to get for you, because he has to get it from a sign company that they do his signs. He has a couple other properties or gas stations that he has certain person to do the sign. I just laid out a generic layout, but I'm not sure. I just found out the refiner's logo. I put it there, it says refiner, grocery and gas, but he might want to say something. Now, he mentioned to me that he wanted to see if we could display the cost for the price of the fuel. I said I will.
That's one of the reasons why we
Exactly.
need to see the details, so.
So what I told him, we have to get that submitted to the board to get it approved. Now, if the sign is not readily ready, what we could do, we could just come for the sign alone. Once we get the building, then we come for the sign. He cannot, and then get your approval before he proceeds with the monumental sign.
So what you're asking is, you want us to grant final depending on you
Just the
submitting
building
something
and the
that's
site, but not the sign.
not the sign? Did you say?
Because there was no way I told him like about a week ago, he was out of town. I called and told him, he says he'll contact his sign maker and then have a design. But unfortunately today when I talked to him, he said it's not ready yet.
So would we?
There actually, if I can present to the board, a couple of options for you to think about with respect to the signage. One of them is, if you're generally okay with the proposed construction or layout size that's being shown in the site plan, have staff, the condition could be staff reviews with the chairman, similar to how we do replacement of signage on other sites. And if there doesn't seem to be something that's really far afield from what is presented here in the site plan, that it could proceed through staff review with the chairman's review, double checking it. If it's very different or we're not sure, then it could come back to the planning board at that point prior to the building permit being issued for the sign permit. So that's one option. The other option would be that it's granted preliminary, and then they come back at a time where they have the actual, from the sign manufacturer, the actual sign as specifically being proposed, and then it comes back to this board. So those really are the two options available. And then with respect to the storm sewer connection, certainly that's something that our town engineer will need to review, and typically does. Even on the best laid out site plans, often in the field, what was known or thought to be known under the ground often is not the case, and so often the town engineer needs to review something and look at a revised connection or an alternative. And so those kinds of reviews typically happen at the building permit level, knowing that the engineer will approve to make sure that it's, that the connection is proper. And just for the folks viewing at home, I don't know, there are no instances in the town where we have combined sewers. When that is found to be the case, where a storm sewer is dumping into a sanitary line or vice versa, that's corrected in those instances. So if it existed, it's not by virtue of, it's not on purpose, and so we would not continue it going forward. But we could talk about the potential connections with the engineer as well.
One issue that when I was at the town, at the Public Works by the Wegmans today, I spoke with a gentleman. He says, why don't you talk to the county, see if they let you connect to the catch basin. 25 years, I know they won't let you connect a storm to the catch basin. There's almost, I've never been able to, a couple of times I tried, but it just didn't, they just won't accept it. So now, the only thing is just going across the street to the storm, and I can always put a dry well, but that site is not small. So the dry well is not going to be a small dry well. It's just going to be, I'll do the calculation, basically 3.5 inch, almost 20,000 square foot, times 7, you have quite a bit of water, but the issue is how often we get that much doesn't matter. That's the codes requires that you consider 3.5 inch per hour for the storm, and that's what I do with all the stuff that I submit to the county for other projects in the city or other towns.
Anything more you want to tell us before I open it up for questions for you, or?
No, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much,
Okay.
that's what I have.
So does anybody have questions for the applicant?
Yeah, I have a question. I think we talked at one of the workshops, or when you were here previously,
Yes,
about
sir.
the possibility of some of the lights, I think particularly on the canopy, maybe turning off after hours.
Yes.
Is that still something that you guys are willing to do? And if so, what's the plan for what would stay on and what would turn off?
Yes, basically, but when I talked to the owner, they show 4 lights on, or 6 or 4 lights, I think 6 lights or 4 lights in the canopy. So we are thinking of at least maybe when they put it, they only keep 1 on. And some of these, I'm going to talk to light specs. Some of these lights, LED lights, they can be dimmed also. So I'm going to ask them to at least give me that capability, so if I need to dim it, I dim it. On the building, it's going to be very little light. It's probably, if you notice on the photometric, it's almost very little, like 7, 8, 10, 12 lumens per square foot. So it's almost just enough, so if somebody falls around the building, it's just a little bit of light. But
Yeah,
we can even turn some of those off, too.
Yeah, I'm mostly concerned with the canopy. If I'm reading this right, I think I am. It looks like there are 5 lights in the canopy. There's
Correct.
4 at the perimeter and then 1 dead center.
Right, correct.
I don't know if it would be possible to turn off the 4 at the perimeter and just leave
And
the
then
one
leave
on
the
in
one.
the middle.
Sure.
I think that would be much better after hours. That's my biggest concern. Mr. Chairman, I would suggest that specifically on this one, we make a condition that the stormwater is, approved by the engineer. I know that's kind of a common thing and it's gonna happen, but I just would want a specific note on this one, I think.
So I heard 2 conditions there. One,
Yes.
on the canopy, leave only the center light
Yep,
lit after hours.
yep.
Excuse me, do you want, is that if just for the purposes of a clear record, is that at the closing, once the business is closed for the night? In
Yes.
terms of the hour?
Yeah, and I think we talked at one of the meetings that closing time was,
11, I believe,
11 or
right. Right now, they close like 10 o'clock. I've stopped by there, the lights is off, but the owner last time mentioned he likes to stay open till 11, at least for that. If he wants to extend the time, then later he can come to the board and obtain approval. No problem. I'll make a note of that.
okay,
That will be assigned, the note on the contract documents when we submit it to make sure that that's addressed.
perfect. Okay, and then just the sign as well, Mr. Chairman, that we,
I
talk
would
at least
prefer
on-
to see the sign also.
yeah, I think if we're talking about there potentially being the, prices on the sign, it sounds like it's gonna be potentially different, that I think it should probably come back.
So the question is, what if it isn't?
We
Then
don't-
are
we
you
don't
okay
know
with
that,
the
though.
staff approving it or not?
I think what we're asking is that the sign come back actually for approval from this board. Is there any prohibition against a digital sign there?
Let me ask. you a
Similar
question
to the
first.
one that
So,
is on,
so my question is first is I heard what you said, but I heard what
Right.
Spencer said. So you said if it was different.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
the same
I
as
think
what's
if
been
it's
proposed.
what was essentially submitted, more or less, if a word changes and it doesn't say grocery or whatever, I don't have a huge issue with that. If it's gonna be different at all than what was submitted, though, I think it needs to come back. So I would be okay with,
If it's as it was, we saw it, you're okay.
yeah, with you,
Or
Mr.
staff.
Chairman, and staff approving it. If it's
it's anything
anything
different?
different, I think it needs to come back.
I guess
in my
I'm
opinion.
confused as to what that is that we're being shown at this moment. I know we've had two conversations, one that was internally lit and then one that was externally lit.
Well, last time when we talked, if I may, I apologize. We discussed the issue, we're not going to have it illuminated internally. We're going to externally illuminate it. Most likely it's going to be some lights on both sides shining on it so it doesn't jump at you.
Are those going to be from the ground up or are they going to
Yes,
be
sir.
from
No, from
the top
most
down?
likely
So
from
it's
the
gonna
ground
be
up,
directing
right, so
towards
you
the
don't
sky.
see the light.
Okay, then maybe it does need to come back,
Well,
because
yeah,
I thought we
so-
talked about goosenecks that were lighting down, so. that we
Right.
weren't
Yeah,
all
so
lighting.
so you just kind of contradicted what we thought we heard, so.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, to make it safe, I think what I'm hearing is,
Right.
we'd rather see it come back. So
Okay,
you'd only be
for
able to
the
get
sign.
preliminary tonight, if they
Sure.
would stay. We can do that, correct, Carrie?
Yes, you may.
Okay. All right. So, sorry, Ellen, what else?
Actually, you can just indicate that the approval is for everything but the sign.
Yeah,
And then
we give final if that's,
if that's the direction the board's gonna
board,
go,
and
then
the
you would do
sign
it.
comes back.
Yeah, I would just leave this, the sign would not be included, and you can state that as, just for a clear record.
Does he have to come back with another application for the sign, or it's just?
That would be correct, so it'd be a separate application, similar to what happens, for signage in other districts where it's absolutely required before a building permit can be issued. They would just make a separate application to the planning board for signage, and there is a,
Pay for an application fee and everything again?
it's a smaller fee, so it's not a revised site plan, it's a separate fee.
Isn't that what we did for,
Okay, can I have a,
Hold on one second.
isn't that what we did, isn't that similar to what we did for, the urgent care? We approved them, then they're supposed to come back for the signage.
Yeah,
So
correct,
it'll be
they,
the same thing.
yeah. So they didn't have the signage ready at the time, and they
Right,
wanted to
I
proceed.
was just gonna say, I was just trying to say that we've done that before.
Right, I didn't know they had to pay another fee though, but that's, okay.
we can always sign, I mean, a gooseneck, what I worry about that people start fooling around, but we can have it, let's say if this is my sign, I can have a horizontal, hidden light so it just shines down too.
That would
I'd
be
rather not
preferable,
have,
But we need to see it.
yes, sir, yes, sir, I understand. No problem.
I just have a quick question, just because I can't remember. On the south side of the property, between the two properties?
Yes, sir.
Is a stockade fence. Can you just remind me the total length of that fence and the material?
On the south side, there is green fencing, I guess some type of hedges, and then there is no fencing except where you go back on the southwest, there's a little bit of chain link, which is all mess.
I don't care about what's there.
You're
I
talking
wanna know
about the
what's
west side, right?
proposed. No, the south side?
Oh, the south side, yes, that's
Between
basically,
that and the neighbors?
yes, that's a 6-foot high wood stockade fence. And then what I could do, and I stopped it right where the hedges stop on the east side of
It
the
goes
side.
to the back of the house line, though.
It goes all the way back to the back of the.
It follows the property line?
I'm 1 foot inside of, yes, I'm 1 foot inside of the property line.
Okay.
Now, one thing is that the hedges that they have is coming into the gas station lot, like not much, but about that much, about 1 foot plus minus. So we may have to trim. I discussed the issue with the owner. I said discuss it with the neighbor, so we can just trim enough so we can get the fence by it.
Yeah, that, but you're representing to me that the fence is going to go all the way back to the end of the property line?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, aside from that and the lights being shut off at night, I think I'm pretty good.
So now I got a question. I'm sorry, did you say that the fences on the south side is the whole length of the property?
Yes, sir.
what you're
It goes all the way to the where the hedges are, and I stopped. I mean, I can keep but it's just gonna
That's
be really a sore thumb
My
if
question
it's.
was, and you represented to me that it was going to go all the way past to the end of the property line.
Yes, sir.
on
It
the
goes
west
all
side.
the way to the west.
Okay,
Yes.
that's not what I'm looking at, but
So
that's
I
okay.
think.
So no, I want to get clarification, because
yeah, I
you're
think
both
he's
saying
bringing it
something
from
different.
here To here, I think.
So,
Oh,
does
I'm
it go
talking
the whole length of your property
That's what he.
on the south side?
Comes to 8 foot to the eastern property line, right of the way. 8 foot. The reason is the hedges that are there right now, the plant, like the hedges or shrubs, whatever you want to call them, they stop 8 foot. So I'm just not
Right,
going
and I
past
don't want you to
that.
put it where your sign's gonna be, that wouldn't make any sense, but, so it is gonna start 8 foot in from Culver Road?
Yes, sir.
So unless this is wrong, this shows 10 foot in, or am I reading it wrong?
No.
No, I think you're right.
Yes, it's 10 foot. I made a mistake.
Oh, okay.
It's 10 foot. I apologize.
So 10 foot in, and then it's going to go the whole length of the property,
All the way to the west,
all the way to the trees, down to that corner?
right, to the west of the corner.
That's what I thought you were asking, right?
All right,
Alan?
yes, no,
At one point, I thought you meant just to the end of this property's thing, so, okay.
no, I was making sure that there was gonna be a barrier between the two properties at this point.
Okay.
Thank you.
That it?
That was,
Ms. Murray?
I'm all set, thank you.
Mr. Huber? Okay. So, this is not a public hearing. I don't think, is there any other questions at this point?
One issue was the ballers that they requested. Actually, I'm showing 12-inch round ballers that are high, but what I did, I put a light, that they make some that are lit. It's not that much. It's just like a inch and a half banding of the light that it shows that it's there.
Right, so you're showing a Ballard with a headlight.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
On 4 corners. On all 4 corners of the building, I show that.
I love it.
Okay.
and there is no sidewalk on this, right?
On the,
On any part of the property?
no, but around the,
Fine. I just
just
wanted to
around
ask.
the building, I think I have 42, boy. Should have brought a lot, but
Yeah.
right on this.
Yeah,
on
nothing
the-
at the street is all he's
Nothing
No,
at the
sir.
street?
Okay.
Yeah,
No, sir.
that's all.
Perfect.
No, sir.
Okay.
We were gonna even add just the, like, there's a portion of the, that it belongs to the, I guess, the county. I was just finishing the curb, coming, just like a nice transition to the curb cut. Then it comes like, okay, if you do anything, you gotta get permission, this, I said, okay, I
we're good.
just cut it. I was just trying to make it look nice, but if it's a lot of headache, then,
What you're proposing, I think, is gonna make it look much nicer from what we saw.
I hope so.
We just need some of the details. the
Right.
additional details. So, having said that, I'd be, you can have a seat at this point. We'll
Yes,
call you
sir.
back up if we have a question. At this point, I'm looking for a motion, and I captured, well, 3 things. So, I guess I'll give it a shot here, and then you guys can tell me if I got it captured correctly, okay?
Do we need the preliminary, were there any preliminary conditions that should be read back so we can add it into the final?
Well, so, I wrote those down too. I had those, yeah.
Okay.
Well, the conditions actually were pending that were stated for the preliminary were actually the things that need to be met in order to achieve final. So it's not a condition that you would need to carry forward if they've been addressed. And the four were installation of bollards on corner of building, submission of an updated lighting, utility, landscape, and stormwater plan, submission of a sign detail plan, and subject to the removal of the payphone. So three of the things have been met. The payphone's already been removed, according to the applicant.
Right, but I don't have to repeat that.
You
right?
don't know, so this
Right.
board is
Let
now
me give
making.
it a shot and we'll see if we have it. How's that? Okay. So in regards to case number PB 1802-2, upon the matter of request by GRH AEC, acting as the agent for Culver St. Paul Convenience Incorporated, for final site plan approval to demolish the existing structure and construct the new one at one-story building with fuel canopy, an 8x10 storage structure with site-related improvements, not including the sign. Can I put that in there? There. Not including the sign on premises 24. Hold on a second. On premises 2417 Culver Road in a C business district with the following conditions. That the canopy, that they leave only the center light lit after the store has been closed for business. Did I get that correct?
Yeah, do we want to clarify a time? I'm just curious, I mean, because they could change that to 2 in the morning is all I'm thinking. 11 p.m.
If we're gonna clarify that time, then it's 11 PM until, what time do they open?
I thought it was 6 in the morning is what we were told.
I believe he was talking about 6, but then when we
Okay.
talked about them, we said 7.
The mic, please. Thank you. Thank you.
I apologize. I know last time when he was here, he was talking about 6, but then the issue became back to 7 to 10.
So,
7 to 11, I'm sorry.
so I'll make it till 6 AM. Does that work for the board? Just looking around?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good. All right, so you're good. Okay. That the stormwater, plan be approved by the town engineer. And I already said that this approval does not include the sign, which you'll have to come back with another application. So that's the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any, no opposed, one absent. That, you have final on everything except the sign, and with those conditions that we read out, that they'll give you. Thank you for doing business in Arundecoit.
Thank you.
We do too.
Give me 1 second, guys. With that, I don't believe we have any other business before the board. A motion for adjournment,
I will make that motion.
meeting closed.
We hope you enjoyed this presentation of the Arundecoit Town Board on ICAT 12, Arundecoit's government access